Foundation for organizing this incredible conference with a focus on solutions, on hope, and on educating the next generation of youth. So we're really privileged to be here and to have a space for two incredible youth advocates to share their lived experiences and their climate action. So first, I'll really briefly tell you about FXB, the organization I represent, and the FXB Climate Advocates program. So today's International Women's Day, and it's very important. We know that women make real change. FXB was founded by an amazing woman, Albina Dubrarov-Ray, who turned unimaginable tragedy into lasting change. When her only son died in a helicopter crash in 1986, Albina founded FXB in honor of her son, Francois Xavier Banoud, to perpetuate the values of generosity that guided his life. FXB is headquartered in Switzerland, and our mission is to enhance social and economic capacities of the most vulnerable communities around the world. We work in Africa and Asia. The FXB Village program provides multidimensional support for people living in extreme poverty around the world over 3 years in nutrition, health, education, and economic empowerment to ensure that people gain the economic and the social capacities to provide for their children and live a dignified life. Of course, we can't work on poverty alleviation without integrating climate resilience. FXB's global climate change strategy really focuses on enhancing the climate resilience of the most marginal and vulnerable communities. We know that climate change is not like a silo. It's not something that happens in parallel to people's lives. It cuts across all aspects of our lives. And we can't really do our work to lift communities out of poverty without looking at making sure that these communities have diversified livelihoods, that they have access to microinsurance to plan for unexpected weather events, that they have access to health and a healthy environment. And of course, as I heard someone today earlier say, without educating the next generation, we can't move the needle on climate change. And that is why in 2019, FXB launched the FXB Climate Advocates program that informs, empowers, and mobilizes youth to address the climate crisis and implement climate solutions. We very intentionally focus on solutions and hope because we know that young people are not waiting around for adults. They're taking action now because there's no time to waste. So through climate education and support for climate action projects, FXB Climate Advocates equips young people with the tools, resources, networks, platforms such as this to shape local, national, and global climate policy and climate action. And we can't do this alone. The theme of this conference is Bridging Solutions. So FXB partners with many organizations to bring the most cutting-edge data, climate experts, really large climate action projects to our participants so they can learn, they can implement them in their communities, they can collaborate, and these are just some of our partners listed here. And of course, young people need to be shaping climate policy at every level in their towns. That's the most immediate sustainability councils, up all the way to the global level. We had 25 FXB climate advocates join Conference of Parties 28 in Dubai, advocating for sustainable agriculture, for climate education, for women's empowerment, among other issues. So we know, and we know the data, young people bear the most disproportionate impact of climate change, having contributed the least, right? We know that globally, young people experience pervasive eco-anxiety. I think 59% of young people say they're very worried about climate change. We also know very unfortunately that there's a lack of comprehensive climate education globally in the US and around the world. So the world, we're not addressing the need for young people to really have the skills and the knowledge. So through our program, we really have the privilege of working with over 1,000 young people across 86 countries, working to change that, working to implement climate action projects. So instead of me telling you about all the great things that our advocates do, I'm very privileged today to have Sophia Arnau and Avi Gulati, two of our alumni, to share a bit about their work. They're both from Florida. So, and I know they have both already wowed many people during the networking sessions with their experience and maturity and wisdom, and so I'm really excited. So let's get started. We talked a lot at this conference about the power of stories and the personal, the human experience. So tell us, Sophia, tell us, what inspired you to get involved in climate action?
Well, my climate journey, I would say, it started when I was in 7th grade. For reference, I'm a junior in high school. It started when I was in 7th grade because my 7th grade biology teacher, she told me, hey, you like going to these cleanups, so why don't you just go to this information meeting about this organization called the Miami Youth Climate Summit? So I went, and I was the youngest person there, and I was just kind of really inspired by like all of these people who were like in high school. They were so passionate, and they had so many accomplishments, and I was kind of in awe, and I really wanted to like learn more and like become one of them. And so I stuck with MICS, and 6 years later, I'm here, and I'm one of their co-presidents, and our event is next week. And I really think that something that's really been a source of inspiration for me is just seeing all of the people who are so passionate about what they do in so many different fields and just learning everything new every day. Like, I learn something new about climate change every single day, and it's just such a field that we're like, you could have a conversation with someone and it could span into like a connection like 2 years down the road, and I just think that's like really inspiring, and it just motivates me to continue my work.
Thanks, Sophia. How about you, Avi?
So yeah, I'm also a junior in high school. I just recently moved down from New York down to Jupiter, Florida. About 10 months ago, early summer, there were the Canadian wildfires. And I don't know if you guys may remember seeing in the news or experiencing firsthand in New York City, the smog and the smoke that completely covered the city. I still remember that day. It was completely orange out, and in school they're handing out masks. And it was really scary. And prior to that, I had gotten education in school minimally about climate action and why it's important for the younger generation to take charge and actually do something about it. But it wasn't until I had that personal connection, that actual experience of being impacted by problems in our environment. And I remember that same day I went home, and I had my grandparents who live in New Delhi with us, and they were explaining how those circumstances are kind of an everyday thing in India. And so when I understood that and had that personal connection to the environment, it really got me passionate about trying to make a change.
Thank you. So it's very powerful, the power of a teacher, to look at the journey that your teacher helped you get on, and for Avi, that lived experience, right? We know that personal experience is really powerful. So neither of you are idly sitting by and just watching this crisis unfold. Tell us, what are you doing in your community to address climate change?
In my community, I'm part of several organizations, such as like the Miami Youth Climate Summit. I'll talk about them first. During the 6 years that I've been a part with them, they hold an annual event. And basically, it's just a way to engage our community and tell them what's going on in the world of climate change, what we've learned, what people are doing, and how they can help. And it's kind of just an educational thing for our community, just to like learn about what's going on. And then throughout that, we've reached 6 continents, 18 countries, and 16 states within the US. And on any given year, we have about 1,000 attendees for in-person or virtual, and we're looking forward to it growing year by year. I also am part of Turtle Team, which is more like hands-on action. They do monthly cleanups at Black Point Marina down in Miami, and they do beach cleanups, and their whole thing is really about awareness and like getting other organizations to come do a meeting at the Black Point Marina, just so people really have like a cultural interaction with like doing something for the environment, and they get that like that positive feel of like, I did something today that like is having an effect on my environment in a positive way.
Thank you. That's very multifaceted what you do. How about you, Avi? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so I want to add on something that Sophia said about that tangible aspect of actually making a change and actually making a tangible impact. I think the tangible impact as well as the advocacy part of it is very important. So for me, I made a community garden in my school campus. With a couple of other people from my school, a couple of peers. We went and petitioned the school administration, and with research that was led completely by students regarding what types of plants, native plants and nitrogen-fixing plants, we were able to build this garden in school. And then the other thing that I noticed, a big difference between New York and Florida, was the lack of education and awareness and honestly care that students had about the environment down in Florida where I am. And so I got very big into advocacy and teaching classes. And as the president of a couple of clubs, I've led several community service events, similarly to her, beach cleanups, as well as tree planting drives. Yeah.
So both of you are really taking tangible action, plus spreading the knowledge and awareness to other children and youth. So you're not just leaving it to yourselves. Tell us a little bit about how partnerships and collaborations feature in your work.
Personally, I think partnerships and collaborations are, especially in this field, one of the most important things that we can do, because since our entire thing is that all of us, either from different organizations or different fields, we are all trying to get to the same goal. And I think that if we don't provide a united front, which we create by making these partnerships and collaborations, then we're not truly being effective in how we're getting the message out. So I think that like networking is one of the best experiences, and in my case, being a 17-year-old is very hard, because it is very hard and intimidating to talk to people who have had so many years in the field, and you're kind of just like, oh, hi, do you want to work together? I'm in high school. But, you know, I think it's still really important. So it's really kind of overcoming those like social anxieties and just reaching out going, hey, I'm doing this, you're doing this, do you want to work together? And we can figure out any way that we can help each other, because it's really important to build a community, especially within the environmental world, of where we can build each other up and help each other out.
Thank you, Sophia. How about, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
How about you, Avi?
I completely agree with Sophia. I think whether true or false, I think all youth who want to get involved kind of have some perception that they don't know enough, or that they don't have the credentials to be able to go and cold email one of you guys who maybe have a PhD or actual position at a organization, right? And so I think being able to partner with people like you guys who already have credentials and an organization and that's established helps us progress our journey much faster, and kind of establish a connection between youth who want to help and have a desire to help and give their time and effort with organizations. And I know for myself personally, in achieving these, in making this garden, establishing this community garden, I had to use help from several peers, from teachers, to go and talk to the administration for me. I think being as a group is more of a united front, and you appear much stronger together.
Thank you. So both of you are 17, juniors in high school. You're just starting on your climate journeys. Tell us, what are some of the next steps for you in your project, as well as for each of you personally in your climate trajectories?
Right now, for my climate journey, my focus is solely on TerraServe, which is it's my nonprofit organization that was just recently incorporated on Leap Day. And thank you. So TerraServe aims to educate and inspire the new generation of the workforce to join or pursue sustainable careers. And just kind of a side note, but it's been really great hearing all of you guys talk about or just even mention the variety of sustainable jobs, because that's really what I want to do. And it was just great to hear you guys speak about it. But that's really what I want to do right now. And right now we're kind of in the phase of educational social media awareness, just so we can kind of establish ourselves within the community as this is an eco-conscious organization. This is something that they are part of the environmental world, right before we can get into our main foothold of organizing in-person events, so we can kind of reinforce the education that we're spreading on social media, and hopefully we can work with all of the partnerships and collaborations we make at this event or other events, so we can really reinforce that.
Thank you, Sophia. How about you, Avi?
Yeah, I would take that question, separate it into action and advocacy. So for action, I think I want to continue with what I'm doing at my school with this garden, continue the garden, apply for some grants to expand it and get more plants and have a broader reach on it, impact more students at the school, as well as other initiatives at the school, creating art with recycled trash and switching to biodegradable utensils. Additionally, a project that I'm very invested in that I am very passionate about is indoor air quality. So currently I'm testing the indoor air quality of several schools, both independent and public schools down in South Florida. And so hopefully we can, with my partner and I, are going to talk to administration at both independent and public schools to try to create change in regulations and legislature regarding ventilation rates and temperature control. For the action piece of it, like she said, it genuinely has been amazing, this opportunity to be able to hear everyone speak. It's given us a lot of great ideas and educated us a lot. And so I think we want to pass that down to more kids who don't have this opportunity to hear from so many professionals. So I'm going to continue that work, teaching classes at my school as well as other schools down in South Florida as part of the FXB Catalyst program, which is another subsection of the environmental work that FXB does, encouraging students and peers to teach younger students about the importance of our generation getting involved.
Thank you. Wow. So, wait. We still have time. So I'm sure I'm not alone, like so in awe and just so inspired by all of you. I want to be you when I grow up. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. It's so impressive. We have a minute and a half. I like what the speaker from the climate group said. Let's get cheeky. Give me one ask you would ask the conference attendees that could help you in your climate action work.
In my climate action work, it's really just tell me about your jobs. Like, I would post it on social media or just make yourselves available to me to use as sources, because you guys may not think of it as such, but you guys are sources for amazing material about what your job means to the climate world. And it's great for also, like, there's a bunch of students out there that could potentially be filling your shoes later on, and they just have no idea about it. And it'd just be great if, like, you guys could be a source of information for me so I could spread it out to my peers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. How about you, Avi?
Well, the other thing I would ask of you guys instead of a question would be I think a lot of students, like she's touched on a lot, it is daunting to go and cold call or just talk to professionals. I think with you guys reaching out to the students themselves, because there's a lot of desire among students to help and make an impact, because they are starting to realize how necessary it is for us to get involved. But it is scary for us to be the ones to go to reach out. I think if there were more accessible opportunities for us, an easier platform for us to get on and speak and actually make impact would be the most beneficial.
Thank you so much. I think we all leave this panel much more hopeful that real change is possible with leaders like Sophia and Avi and other youth. Thank you so much. Thank you.